Hey guys, welcome back to Trek on the Tube. I honestly didn't think I'd be doing another news video so soon, but there's so much going on in the world of Star Trek recently that, here we are. I'm going to try and structure this as best I can, because we've got the Kelvin timeline to talk about, we've got Star Trek Discovery to talk about, and Picard, so bear with me. Also, I do apologize for my background. I am moving at the moment, so it is what it is. Now for starters, the Picard news. I know I talked about this already, at least 2 months ago now, and some of you guys didn't believe me then, but now it's officially confirmed. Sir Patrick Stewart is returning to Star Trek, reprising his role as Jean-Luc Picard. I'll put a link to the full announcement video in the description, but essentially, the most important pieces of information dropped is that Picard may not be a captain anymore, and he'll be a changed man, whatever that means. The series will be taking place 20 years after the events of Nemesis, so we're moving forward in the timeline. Finally. And interestingly, when the announcement was made, they still had no scripts, just ideas being thrown around. Side note, if you yourself have an amazing idea, do not send it to CBS, because if they read it, then they're legally not allowed to use it. It's just best to let them do their own thing. I know it's a shame, but that's how it is. Speaking of ideas, I could go through all of the theories regarding the Captain Picard series in depth, but that'll just take way too long. So I think what I'll do is I'll talk about the main theories, and I'll talk about them quickly. There's the Professor Picard theory. Picard would now be teaching at the Academy, and they'll use that as a way to launch their new Starfleet Academy series. There's the Archaeology Picard theory, which would have him roaming the galaxy, searching for old artifacts, and uncovering something important from the past. If Season 2 of Discovery is really about the Iconians, and there's a Section 31 cover-up, then this could be a great way to link both shows together. Then, of course, there's the Ambassador Picard theory, where he would now be an ambassador fighting for the reunion of the Vulcan and Romulan people. There's a lot of story to tell there, especially considering the show is supposed to be set about 10 years after the destruction of Romulus. That, of course, is considering CBS are allowed to even address those events since they happened in the movies under Paramount. There could be some issues with the ownership rights there, I don't know. As I said before though, even if those are the leading theories, they are just theories and nothing is really confirmed, so at this point, anything could happen. It is interesting to note that the same day Sir Patrick Stewart made this announcement, CBS filed 2 new trademarks at the US Patent and Trademark Office. The title is Star Trek Reliant and Star Trek Destiny. Both are filed under entertainment services, so they are confirmed to be TV shows, not video games or anything else. Of course, there's no way of knowing for sure, but if I were to guess, I would say Star Trek Destiny is the name of the Picard series, and Star Trek Reliant is the name of the Khan series. Simply because we already have a series of books about Picard and post-Nemesis events called Destiny, and the ship that Khan commandeered in Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan, is the USS Reliant. Okay, now let's move on to Kelvin timeline news, which probably isn't as big a deal as people are making it out to be. Recently, it was reported that both Chris Hemsworth and Chris Pine are supposedly walking away from Star Trek IV. The story is that both actors are apparently in disagreement with the studio regarding their salary. Now, I'm in no position to comment on who's wrong and who's right in this situation, but I will say that I'm personally not very worried. It's a common move for actors and their agents to make a big and public deal about small disagreements just to force the studios into conceding to their demands. Paramount aren't stupid, and having a Star Trek movie with both Hemsworth and Pine as leads is a certified win, even if it's expensive. So they'll probably be doing everything in their power to get it done. Then again, I could be wrong, and maybe both actors actually did kick the bucket and left, which would leave us with either no more Kelvin timeline movies or a Captain Sulu movie. At this point, all 3 options sound good to me, and keep in mind Tarantino Trek is coming as well, so don't worry, we'll be getting more Star Trek movies for sure. Alright, now let's move on to the last chunk of news, everything concerning Star Trek Discovery. As you probably already know, CBS officially announced the actor they cast as Spock. The guy is called Ethan Peck, and he's 32 years old, which is about the same age as Leonard Nimoy has when The Cage was in production. Until now, he's had no notable roles, or at least none that I know of, so I can't comment on his performance, but the production team said they knew he was the man for the job the moment he walked in, so at least that's reassuring. IMDb has been confirmed for only 2 episodes at this point, 1 and 13, which are respectively first and last of the season. I was expecting more, but maybe we'll be getting more young Spock than actual science officer Spock, which honestly doesn't bother me in the slightest. I've always wanted to see Spock's youth on a live-action Vulcan. Maybe we'll even get some Cybok. Anyway, it's already been said that he may not be quite the same as in the original series. The exact quote from Kurtzman is, "This is not entirely the Spock who has been formed enough to be the Spock that we know from the original series. There's a lot of story about who Spock was before he becomes the Spock that is the yin-yang to Kirk. What I'm so excited about is that we have an opportunity to present a version of Spock that's both totally consistent with the Spock everyone knows, but very, very different. And it's all going to tie to how we sync up with canon. I know that may sound scary, and a lot of people have been going crazy, but when you think about it, it does make sense. For starters, Leonard Nimoy explained on multiple occasions that he played the character very differently in both pilots. The Spock we're used to was reserved and calm, but that was simply Nimoy's response to Shatner's outgoing performance. When Nimoy was on screen with Hunter, he did the exact opposite. Pike was the calm and collected one, so Spock was all smiling and excited, much more human, actually. It makes sense that Discovery would try to transition between both versions, considering they're both canon. Speaking of versions and canon, Glenn Hetrick, the Discovery makeup designer, dropped some intriguing information about the oh-so-controversial Klingons. To make things brief, he explained we've only seen about 6 of the 24 houses, and thus only 6 designs. He said the Klingons we're going to get in Season 2 are going to make fans freak out. Now, honestly, this could just mean they're going to make the Klingons even more different, but considering he insisted quite a bit on the legend of Kahless and his famous lock of hair, I'm going to cross my fingers and say we're going to see some more familiar features. Long before Discovery was actually released, a few of us enjoyed the idea of having different Klingons depending on what planet they evolved on. See, the Empire is so vast and so old that different versions of Klingons could exist, could possibly coexist, depending on where they grew up. Now, I'd pretty much given up on that theory, but maybe, just maybe, Discovery are going to use that idea or an idea similar. And maybe we'll see Klingons evolve and change. Maybe we'll see different Klingons in each season. To end this, I think it's appropriate for me to inform you that Discovery Season 1 is now available on Blu-ray and DVD on Amazon. Pre-orders are open, but shipping will only start in November. November 13th to be exact. Both the Blu-ray and the DVD will feature over 2 hours of bonus content, from deleted scenes to behind the scenes. And just to confirm, you will be getting the same thing whichever format you buy. CBS should really be paying me for this, because that was some solid product placement. I mean, honestly. Okay, I will be getting a copy in case you're interested. Not so much because I want it, but because I want to see the bonus content, and I will be making a video about that when the time comes. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, share with your friends, and most of all, live long and prosper.